Hey,
So what is a system? Board games, card games, systems. We're talking about systems here.
my next guest is a learning architect and game designer who explores how play, systems, and storytelling can transform the way people learn. Moe Ash brings a creative, evidence-informed perspective on designing engaging learning experiences that align on the intersection of creativity, strategy, and meaningful growth.
Oh, hey, Dave here. Just real quick, wanted to pull you aside. Man, I must have been half dead when I recorded this opening. It is boring. Talk about low energy. A few things, little housekeeping on the side before we get this show on the road. Number one, I think there might be a few cuss words in this one, so if there's little ears around, I mean, they're not going to like it anyway. It's a little bit cerebral. I loved it. What a wonderful conversation. Because, number two, Mo is a bad. Okay, number three, there's some segments, maybe around 30 minutes long, where Mo is just kind of out there in his Mo flow. And I broke it up a little bit with asides just like this to keep the ball rolling. He knows his product and he knows how to talk about it. Okay, thanks. Enjoy the show.
His work pulls heavily from research-based models of learning and design, while rejecting pseudo-scientific shortcuts in favor of approaches grounded in evidence, practice, and real human behavior. Please join me in welcoming Moe Ash down to the game layer.
Board games, card games, systems. We're talking about systems here. So what is a system? Systems are three main things. You got your input, you got your output, and in the middle, something called an artificial conflict that is bordered with rules and constraints that would let them behave in a certain way so they can generate to me specific learning outcomes that are measurable, that are observable, that would relate to the input that was asked for at the beginning.
Hey, welcome to Game Layer, where we explore the science of play and the quest of learning. I am your host, David Colmer. Theme music by Caleb Willits. Welcome down to Game Layer.
I play piano.
I play chess.
I play everything.
I play games of my own invention.
I'd like to move to the domain of play.
How is building and maintaining a business similar to playing and winning a game? Season 2 delves into casting the business owner card, exploring the entrepreneurial play. I'm very excited today to invite Moe Ash to the program. Thank you so much for your time, Mo. Really appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy.
No, I'm not. I have a lot of time in hand. And it's going to be fun.
I wanted to state for the record that when I started this show, I was just getting people that I had met at conferences to come to the show, and it had become sort of an inside goal for me that I never shared with anyone. And I got to this level where I realized, man, this show would be successful if I got a guy like Moe Ash to come and join me on the program.
That's an overstatement. Okay, thank you.
It's not. No, it's not. It's not.
Appreciate
but
that.
I just wanted to bring that up because I know of you and I know of your work, and I'm just very excited to
Thanks,
have you on
man.
the show.
Appreciate it. And also, we're going to meet up, right? In a couple of months. So
We are.
we're
I'm super excited. I was able to move some things around. I'm going to make it out to Core 4.
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
was
we're going to hang
stoked
out.
when I read your comments. So that's
Yeah.
that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's going to be real cool. Well, I just wanted to start by just saying, hey, Mo, where are you from? And what do you identify with these days?
I'm from Cairo, Egypt. Yeah, I've been here most of my life. And what do I identify with? That's a really good question, because when I started off in this field, I wanted to be a trainer. Okay. For the life of me, I'm a guy that used to do model of United Nations. I'm a MUN-er, if you know what that is. I used to be a model of United Nations. I wanted to work as a diplomat at one point, and I struggled with public speaking. So for me to do a job where I'm going to be doing public speaking was a thing. And then later on, I was like, you know what? Being a trainer is not really my thing. So you know what? I'll get into organizational learning and development, like organizational L&D and competency matrix and assessment centers and psychometrics and all of that. Again, not my thing. So eventually I found myself in instructional design. So I identify as a learning designer. And true that I do work in the niche segmentation of games, but at the end of the day, I'm still an ID, and I'm proud of. If someone would tell me, would you like to be called a learning game designer or like game designer or learning designer, I'm like, I'm a learning designer all the way. So yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of picked up on that when we started talking today, that you just started using a lot of the instructional designer language, cognitive load, and these sort of things.
Here I am.
There you are. So what's it like? I'm living in Egypt, or I know you've been to the United States. So what are the differences, or how is that different?
Well, the community here is, I could say it's big, but at the same time, I could say it's pretty tiny. Okay, so it's big because you get a lot of people who are part of the self-development tribe, who I wouldn't really call L&D or trainers. You know, your Tony Robbins kind of thing, like energy, NLP, pseudoscience kind of BS. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
you're
they're part of the tribe, although, and they're a lot, and I believe it's an easy way out. You want to be called a trainer, do network marketing and train people, and now you're a trainer. Do meditation training, healing, energy, and all of that. So if you're going to be talking about the community, we have a lot of people that have the label of trainer. But if we're going to be talking about L&D, as in actual people that work in the learning profession, whether they're facilitators, trainers, coaches, blah, 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 yes, we're puny. We're not a lot. And mostly we do know one another in a way or another. We don't have instructional designers. The instructional design movement has kind of started like 10 years ago, or maybe I could give it the benefit of maybe 15 years ago. Did we have e-learning developers? Yes, we did. But we don't have someone that will go through a program like an MED. I am going to come out of uni a learning designer. I get people that go to specific, I'm not going to say universities, like colleges, and they can write code. And they're really good, technically good. But I wouldn't call them an instructional designer. I would call them more of a developer that doesn't know that part. And then on the other side, you have a lot of people that do training and they know how to design based on intuition, but they don't have the back end. So possibly in the past 10 to 15 years, that movement started to appear, probably with exposure. And now we have instructional designers. And now what is pretty prominent and pretty visible to be witnessed is that there are instructional design jobs internally in corporate and through providers. And that was not there like, I don't know, 5 to 7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I would have got a job at that time, but I didn't. Not 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I wouldn't find an ID job. But there are a lot now. So the community is growing. The awareness is getting more well spread that L&D is not only a trainer or a coach, an ICF certified coach, or even an ATD master trainer, or someone that works with CIPD or SHRM or HRAI to the end. There are dividends, there are subcategories, and people could do. And now people that do graduate as developers, they're venturing into, okay, I need to know more about learning science and how to apply that. People like me, I have a bachelor's degree in human resources management. My minor is in economics. I have nothing to do with L&D. So I went through extensive self-studying, going between courses within Egypt and abroad, till I got to be where I am now as a person that understands in a way or another. But now, doors are pretty much open. Different programs are there. You can get into a program to become an instructional designer, this to become a trainer of sort, a developer for AR, a vibe coder, and so on and so forth. I could rant on this all day. The community is big, and I would say, consider me more of a patriot at this point, that I do believe we have a lot of really good talents. A lot of well-skilled people. They're really good, but they don't have the exposure. They don't know where to shout out to, whom to talk to. And I see that around us. That's the difference between here and US. The US has a lot of outlets, has a lot of areas where you could showcase your work, whether that's through the ATD chapters, something that we do not have, whether that's through the conferences. For the life of me, to go to LA, the ticket itself was over $1,000. And to go to, I shouldn't be saying this on record, but to go to Core,
You're fine.
it's going to break a bank, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I
going to
can
break
share
a bank.
something personal.
Yeah.
I'll up your ante, man. So I lived in Thailand for 7 years, and I met my wife there, and so her family's in Thailand, and so imagine bringing me and my wife and my 2 kids to Thailand for a couple weeks. That airfare is, we're talking $10,000-$15,000, right?
There you go. There you go.
So yeah, you're preaching to the choir on that one. It's gotten expensive to fly around the world. It really has. But everything has gotten more expensive
With the war.
Yeah?
With the war that is going on and the inflation.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of good calibers, but they don't know where to invest their skill set, and they don't know how to invest it.
Okay.
So that I would say that's the only difference, because again, you're talking about Egypt compared to States, which is a continent. Egypt is a big country. We're 112 million. But still, it's not the U.S. Okay.
No,
So,
and it's a massive country. Yeah, you're right. A lot of countries are the size of like 1 or 2 of our states. So it's really not an apples to apples comparison. That's true. I did also want to just ask real quick about your family. You know, I definitely see you post with your family online a lot, and I just perceive that as a priority for you. So I wanted to just ask that up front. How does that fit into all this, or how would you react to that question?
Okay. Consider me trying to overcompensate in a way or another. I'm a workaholic. I could stay here at the office for over 12 hours on a good day. It could lead to maybe 18 to 16 hours.
That's a lot.
I'm not holding the fort on my own. My partner, my wife, she's the owner of the company as well, and she's an instructional developer. So she's the developer. She's a graphic designer. So all of our games, all of our shenanigans are created through her. I'm the guy that doodles stuff. Honestly, yesterday I was in a meeting. I'm like, please, let's just consider this is the prototype that I crafted to let you understand what the board game looks like. Okay, it's not gonna look like this. And then I showed them examples. See this? See how it turned out? Not through me, through the team that does that. I am not a developer. I understand the concepts. I know how to mix and match, do a job aid. But if we're gonna do games or like actual stuff that sell, no, I'm not gonna take it to the expert. So she's the expert. She built all of our games. She built all of our stuff. And after we got our kid, obviously the priority increased towards her, or like pointed towards her. And I'm saying it out loud. I could be overcompensating because I do not spend that much time with my kids. So whenever there is a possibility, I try to do so. I wouldn't say I'm the best father ever, but working on it, it's a work in progress, because I need to give more time.
The fact that you're willing to say that says a lot, though, too. I think a lot of people, even if they weren't workaholics, might try and play it off like they are the best father. So
no,
I'll push up against that a little bit. I see the pictures, and I know that you're making it a priority, and I just wanted to call that out because I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
I also really like what you're talking about with the professionalism of learning and development, right? I love how I've heard more and more conversations around how we're separating tasks into different job roles. And you're talking about that, how in a lot of the roles that I've had in the States, it's like, oh, well, you're the L&D guy. So you get to do development, design, implementation, and you have to run the LMS, and you have to get all of the data, right? And that can become overwhelming if you're doing all those things.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that comment, because I think that is the future of L&D.
It happens here as well. You're the L&D guy in a startup, so you're going to be doing everything. You're going to be putting the learning strategy, the development, the design, and that could be overwhelming. Yet sometimes it's an experience
It's exciting
to certain people,
because you get to wear all the hats. And I'm not saying I don't like that experience that I had. I'm just saying I think that sometimes it can be too much. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it's not sometimes. It is too much, especially that. No.
Yeah.
It is, because you're not going to master any of those different traits. Each and every trait has its own secrets and formats and
100%
and energy. Like it takes a certain capacity to be able to do one of them. So to be able to do all of them, you're just trying to like block holes, but you're not really doing what is needed by each and every one of them. And that's why, for example, I am here, the business owner. I sometimes do business development. I do meet with stakeholders and clients, and sometimes clients will be like, "No, we want you to deliver." I'm like, "No, I'm the designer. I don't deliver. I have those people. See how shiny they are? Yeah, try them." So now with maybe the rapport that I have, I give them the benefit of try them. See? They're gorgeous. Now let's continue on with them and leave Mo in his cave so he can do more shenanigans for you and the rest of the people. So yeah, that is something that I've been working on for the past 4 years, and it's working its way out.
I could relate because I've really gotten into instructional design, went back to school for it. And that was sort of the motivation was, no, I specialize in designing and that's what I want to do. Because you always seem to kind of end up back in the training room, right? Why do I have this clicker in my hand, right?
I don't even know for the life of me, how did I even imagine that I would be a trainer at one point? Look, I'm not a bad trainer. I'm an okay trainer. Everyone's like, you're a good trainer. Yeah. I'm an okay trainer, okay?
I'm fun.
I'm okay. No. Honestly, I've
okay.
seen,
right.
Because I've seen others. Like when I see certain people, like I designed that program. I wrote the guide. I gave them the handover. And then when I attended, I'm like, wow, you guys are so good. I cannot do this. They convince me every day that I should not step in a training room. I should be here in my shorts or my jeans, not in a training room with a tie. Although, I mean, I haven't worn a tie in a really long time for a training, but I'm just saying, it's the thing.
I get it.
I don't want to do training. Sometimes I'm pressured to do it by a client or two, which is okay, to let things moving and to be, since we're being unapologetic and being bluntly honest since the start of this.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's how I roll.
Design pays more. And I was a trainer who used to do freelancing. So I should focus on the things that do pay better rather than doing a day or two. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. And we're being blunt. So while we're talking about it, I do want to hear more about your design process. So you said you kind of had an ideation or you have an idea. And I wanted to hear more about your process. You've definitely talked about how you have the idea, then your wife kind of picks it up and fleshes out the prettiness of it or builds out the game of it. Is there anything else? I know there's something called the Penta framework that I think you use.
Yeah.
Did I say it wrong or?
No. I'm just laughing that you're mentioning it. That's all. No, it's Penta. Yeah, it is.
Well, I keep reading about it and I know that you run workshops on it. And I'm just curious about if you could kind of just walk us through your process or high level. You don't have to give any of your trade secrets.
Definite.
Yeah.
What people struggle with is that they start with the game. Okay,
sure.
And that's what clients do ask for. I want a game. And I treat this like any other design. Like, hold on a second. Why do we need a game? What's the point behind it? I need to flesh that out first. I need to understand what's the point. And then I do something which later on is being mentioned in the framework as framing the learning problem. So I need to differentiate between wishful thinking and actual substance. So I explain in chapter 1, because I'm actually working on the book for the Penta framework. I'm done with 2 chapters so far. So in chapter 1, I always tell them, okay, hold on. Yeah. We need to, Mr. Client, Mrs. Client, I need to differentiate between 4 things. Is this an intention? Is this an outcome? Is this a behavior? Or is it an action? So it's an intention, it's wishful thinking, for crying out loud. You're hoping for something. I want my leaders to be better with their teams. Okay, that's good. That's good. I love that. That's an aspiration. That's an ambition. That's good for you. Okay.
Oh, hey, Dave here. I didn't want to disrupt Mo in his Mo flow, but this sounds like a really broad, general statement. It just made me want to say learning goal. I wanted to ask, is this a learning goal? And then I didn't want to disrupt the Mo in the Mo flow. But I think it's a learning goal. It's a goal. It's broad. It's not a learning objective. I think that's later.
So what's the outcome? What do you want them to actually do? I want them to delegate and I want them to allocate better with their teams. I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere. Okay. How's the behavior? Do they usually do delegation or they haven't done delegation? Do they have teams Or they're first-time managers? Or are they even people managers?
Oh, hey, Dave again. Delegation. Now I think we're talking about a specific skill, a learning objective. By the end of this module, you will know XYZ about how to delegate. I know it. I knew we would get there.
Or you're going through a crisis, or you're going through a change. I need to understand what kind of behavior are you expecting in that delegation and task allocation thing. And again, I'm brainstorming here with you. This is not an actual case. I'm just saying it. So it'd be
Sure,
like,
sure.
no, I want them to know how to delegate in different situations. And I want them to know how to task allocate each and every point on a job description to the necessary employee at a time. I'm like, okay, now we're talking actions.
Oh, did he just say actions? Like, what will the learners be doing with their hands in the environment where they need to recall this information? This is just really good backward design. This is solid, a solid case study for the application of backward design. Kathy Moore is dancing a little jig, playing the violin. She's right over there. You can't hear her. She's kind of far away. It's a small violin. She doesn't like to talk about how small it is. She's excited. This is solid action mapping. Woot woot, woot woot. Action mapping. What will they do with their hands? Their hands. The hands will be doing things. What will the hands be doing?
So the actions to me, David, is where I'm going to be basing my actual board game. Because when we're talking about board games, card games, systems, we're talking about systems here. So what is a system? Systems are three main things. You got your input, you got your output, and in the middle, something called an artificial conflict. So any system is basically input going in. That could be the players or / learners, the measurable behavior that I understood, the norms in the company, the failure states, the constraints, all of the concepts that I could understand about the nature of the situation that they're in. And then I'm going to be putting those people in an artificial conflict of my creation. Okay? That is bordered with rules and constraints that would let them act in a certain way or hence behave in a certain way so they can generate to me specific learning outcomes that are measurable, that are observable, that would relate to the input that was asked for at the beginning. So I'm putting a system up. And when we start from framing the learning problem is not the input. Framing the learning problem is the output. So I understood where you want them to go. Okay, now let's go to the beginning. Who are they? Let's do an empathy map. What is the system like? How many employees? Walk me in a day in a life. What processes do they have? It's TNA. What processes do they have? What are they doing? How do they usually behave? The activities that they work on, what are the constraints? What are the failure states? What are the usual failure states? What are the rare failure states? Okay, now I have an understanding of what I want to simulate people in. This is where we take a moment to explain something. On an axis, learning games are a balance between two things. You got your serious play, like the ones done by the US military, by NASA, by Microsoft, we have a pandemic we have an Ebola pandemic happening, okay, an outbreak, and we want to know how to go through that kind of situation. This was an actual thing that I went through with a doctor at the African Union. He told me about a serious play where they had to revisit the entire scenario of if an outbreak of Ebola happened in Uganda, what would they do? That's serious play. It's stripped out of fun. It's just pure system play to a situation without putting you inside of a risk or going through any sort of consequences. Now, on the other side of the axis is abstract games. So you got your chess, your backgammon, your tic-tac-toe. All of those are abstract games that are pure compounded decisions in a pure abstract format. People are only thinking about the action, regardless if the pawns are shaped like Victorian kings and queens, or Marvel versus DC, or villains of DC against Justice League, okay? Which is a thing that I saw and I'm still hooked up on when I get the money for it. But anyway, that's an abstract thing. It would not change what the chess play is all about. You just sprinkle some aesthetics, but it's still an abstract game. So learning games are in that mid-set between both of them. Whether that's a card game, whether that's an escape game, whether that's a board game, a modular board game. Why? Because on one side, we need to take a little bit of that simulation, that understanding of a system, and we also need to let people have autonomy to take after decisions, and those decisions have to be compounded where they need to, make meaningful choices. Now, what happens here is, do I need to immerse people in a narrative because it's going to affect their choices? So I'm leaning more towards serious play. Or the narrative is not that important if I played the game with whatever the aesthetic, but the action is the main focus, because that's what they're going to be off-boarded with when they go back on the job, that I wouldn't care for the aesthetics that much, and I would focus more on the mechanics of what to do rather than the wrapper or the glitter that is going to be there. So when I'm thinking, when I do that learning, framing the learning problem, I get into, okay, what do I want people to do now? Do I want them to get more into a cognitive form of engagement? I'm thinking about behavior transfer, strategy, problem solving, decision making of sort. Or am I looking more into an emotional resonance? Like I want to tickle their memory, work on tension and urgency and empathy, or ethical judgment, or something where they need to understand the morale of things, or like the consequences of their actions. These are what we call, in the Penta framework, the two main lenses, the cognitive engagement lens and the emotional resonance lens, based on which we have two lenses here that are stemmed out of this and two sub-lenses here are stemmed out of this. One is behavior transfer lens and the other is collaborative dynamics. I want them to work in a team where their collaboration would reap into something. And the other side, I got emotional resonance and I have ethical judgment. So you do your mix and match now here, David. I want them to do behavior transfer with ethical judgment with collaborative dynamics with emotional resonance. And I mix and match to understand, okay, do I want people to do or to reflect? Reflect on what? Do what? Only then, I start to take out my mechanics and I start to ideate. And this is where the crux of the Penta framework is. Penta doesn't promise anyone that you're going to come up with a game. I am not going to promise this. I am promising with the only annoying part of game build, ideation. It's the toughest thing, according to at least my own feeble experience, that to come up with a new idea, look, we're never going to be like reinventing the wheel. Okay, we're always going to be going back to some old mechanic of sorts. But the mix...
Yeah, there's nothing new under the sun. Yep.
Nothing is. The Frankensteining of it? See, that's what I'm looking into. Yeah. Okay? So you go into the deck of cards. We have the why cards, which is why is that tension meaningful to the people? What's the purpose? Is it for skill acquisition, knowledge retention, collaborative work, leadership simulation? What are we doing this for? So when you take a card, you would find on the card when it's going to be used, what is that card about, and how to use it. And if you're a nerd and you want to scan the QR code, you will go into a use case and the back end from EdPsych, from educational psychology, that we're highlighting this. So you have 10 cards and you're only allowed to pick 2. And that constraint part is extremely important in building that form of strategy. Otherwise, you're just overwhelming your system. Then you understood the tension and why is it meaningful. Okay, let's move into how are we going to be putting that tension into play. Like how we're going to make that tension move. Those are the how cards. So the how cards, we have 15 cards. You're only allowed to have 3. And within it, you will find 2 things. A, functional mechanics, and then B, behavioral mechanics. So when you go into any card, again, when to use, what it is, how it is, and then you scan the QR code. I want to help people because most people, when they get into the whole spectrum, let's just call it a spectrum, the spectrum of game design, they don't really know which books to read, what frameworks to follow through with. And they get lost into the lingo, dynamics, mechanics, rules, actions. Baby boo, just focus on how, okay? And focus on 2 things. A, the function. Function mechanics is basically how people will act on a board. Turns, modular,
Got you.
escape, cards, the functional part. But what's most important, and the thing that makes or breaks any designer, is the behavioral part. So if you're putting now a timer, I appreciate that. But is the time urgency a thing that would aid them in making up that decision? Or is it even necessary? By the way, I have nothing against using points, badges, and leaderboard. I'm against using it all the time or circulating the entire game design concept around giving people points. But if you're going to be using a leaderboard, a client just told me about this yesterday. I was like, Mo, can we, when we're doing the board, have a platform where all of the players have a leaderboard? I'm like, okay, honey, why? Because so they would know, okay, hold on. This is a physical board. They have coins in their hands and they need to trade it. And they need the coins to be visible before one another. And they have 2 types of currency. 2 types. No more. So they need to see how the currency would work. And they need to have that form of communication because the game rides highly on cross-functional collaboration. So if I put up a leaderboard, I am basically taking out their attention on a screen instead of looking at your peers or basically your competitors. See, that's what I'm looking into.
Yeah,
So
now your
leaderboard-
collaborators are your competitors. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So leaderboard
What?
is a function.
Why would you want that?
But it's insinuating
Yeah, I love it.
a behavior that would be counterintuitive to what we're trying to let the people do. That's the thing. So within the cards, you would find functional mechanics and behavioral mechanics so people can understand what they are. Someone will be like, wouldn't you explain each and every one? Okay, there's a level to spoon feeding. Okay. You would find modular board. If you don't know what a modular board is, well, we have GPTs and Google. That can help you understand what a modular board is if you're new, if you're fresh, if you're green. Okay, so those are the how cards. Now, the other part, and I do consider them a mechanic, but that's between me and you and the people listening here. Stories.
Secret. Inside knowledge.
I even wrote an article, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years ago, that stories are mechanics and they're overarching. They're the motherlode of mechanics because once you put up a story, it lends itself to you. Like once you have a dragon, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the narrative, right? It holds the whole thing together.
Yeah, it's the narrative. It's
Right.
basically giving that form of immersion to the learner. For example,
Okay.
when you go into the cards, the story cards, which are narratives, you would find, okay, how do you want your learner to be? You want them to be the author, the employee, the villain, or like the antagonist, the protagonist, or you want to do a role-based learning, or is it a role reverse? Or you want to do cause and effect. How do you want the immersion to be like? And when you scan the QR code, I'm leaving the people with story examples, characters, trope, lore, like a mini D&D. So they can go through the different cards. Okay, now I know how it's going to work. Let's see how we're going to put this in a narrative to make it happen. For the life of me, people all over the internet these days are against God of War, not because of the mechanics of the game, The mechanics of the game is amazing. Me and my wife were like starstruck. Okay, that's amazing, but they changed the protagonist. It's not Kratos anymore. And although the story is good, but when they did that role reverse, everyone is against them. The mechanics are good. The resolution of the game, the gameplay, sick, but the story, they didn't hit the mark. And that's why everyone is against them, because God of War is one of those games that you do not approach unless you're very, very cautious about what's going to happen. And on the flip side, one of the games that made a huge difference when it came to story is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It's a video game, and the story made people tear. They were so invested. It's an RPG game, and RPG games have been like, they're dead. They actually reinstated it in the industry, and they made it even more fun, and the stories to die for. So again, stories are that good. They lend itself to the entire game system. So you need to be very sensitive about what kind of story you want to put your people into, whether that's a video game, an e-learning game, or a board game, for crying out loud. And okay, so we got our story, but story needs tacticality. It needs usability. It needs accessibility. One of the things that would be very confusing, I have a board game here that I do tarnish a lot and I do hate because I paid a lot of money back in the day. Now it's not that expensive to me, but back then it was expensive. It's called The Ancient World. If you're listening, game designer, I hate you. So The Ancient World, you put the board and there's a huge guide. And I'm like, where should I start? What should I do? How can I get this going? And it's a 40-page guide. Huge. A4 document, okay?
It sounds overwhelming. Yeah, that just sounds overwhelming.
Hardcore board gamers that might not be. I'm not hardcore.
Yeah, I know
Video
who they
gamer
are.
or
I know
board
them.
gamer.
Yeah.
You know them.
Yeah.
You know those
know
people that would D&D for like years, okay? All the
Yes.
respect to them, hearts
get
and
it.
kisses. But the point
No,
is,
I love it.
I'm like, how can I start? That's the
That's
point.
not my life. Yeah, that's not
It's
my
not.
life. Yeah. Yeah.
Neither am I.
Too much.
So
Yeah.
here's when we go into the experience part. The experience part to me,
Okay.
the experience cards are the nervous system of the game. I need to focus on something. You're not going to create a game to impress you or a significant other, okay? You're trying to create a game so the learner would know what to do, would not waste time trying to figure out. And when I'm talking time, effort, energy, trying to understand what to do instead of jumping into the action right off. So here we're talking about smart defaults, pattern recognitions, cognitive load management. How are you going to be setting the experience, whether they're like color gradings, cues, hints, animation, all of the things that we know in e-learning, like put a continuous animation. So you're giving a signal to people to click here. Use an arrow. Always use the right side, the left side, the top left, the top right, and so on and so forth. That user experience design concepts are extremely important in game systems and learning systems, obviously. So there is a suit of cards, 10 cards, you need to pick 2 from after you pick the other 2 from the story. And then, as I always say, my favorite suit of cards is the nudge cards. So gamification, whether anyone likes it or not, is actually built on behavioral science and behavioral economics. So all of your mechanics, the behavioral mechanics, are actually built off on biases and fallacies and heuristics. So the nudge cards, I've allocated a complete suit just for the sake of how will you sustain the engagement from the start of the experience to the end. So you're going to be putting goal visibility. Good. Why? How you're nudging the people. For what reason? You are putting progress bars. Good. Why? Here you need to consider, how am I going to keep the people in that loop of failure and reinstatement from the start to the end. So how you're going to be creating that ongoing feedback loop in the game to sustain the engagement, to keep them coming back at it. One of the mechanics that I didn't put in Penta, but that's in a other deck, like the grandfather of Penta, something called fun once, fun always. And that's like one of the toughest mechanics ever. It's like once you play a game once, now I'm good at it. I mean, there's nothing going to surprise me anymore, but there are certain games. It's fun once, fun always. You can always keep coming back at it. These games play on a lot of nudges, a lot of probabilities that keep you coming back. Okay? I'm not putting this in Penta, but I'm just talking about it. I'm just letting you know. So nudge is that suit of cards that you choose from to sustain the engagement, as I've mentioned. And then at the end, I've left 5 cards for the adventurers, for the adrenaline junkies. Those are called the wild cards. The wild cards are there are 5 cards. You only pick one of them if needed, optional. Once you put one of those wild cards in play, they add a specific risk to the game, a degree of severity. So those 5 cards, I've ranged their severity level from low to high. And when you scan the QR code inside of the card, it tells you the level of severity, the disruption queue, and the recovery queue, how to actually contain it, and what kind of cards you would pick from the deck to increase that kind of wildness into it. But again, those are optional, but I've left them at the end for those who want to, make something different. For the daredevils that want to do a system that would be controversial. So the framework comes with a guide that explains the bigger part of the framework. And it has stacks. So there's a beginner stack if you're still green and fresh and you're trying out. You never did this before. There's the advanced stack and there's the expert stack. Also, I'm leaving a solo walkthrough for ideation and there's a group walkthrough. There's a process here and there's a process there. And also, since you might be doing this on your own or you're with people and you want to brainstorm, so I've left you with 2 GPTs, 2 trained GPTs. One is a GPT that is trained on the Penta framework and it takes you through specific questions to help you out with the ideation if needed. And another one for story design. And it's trained on the story cards. So you get that package and I don't want to hear about you anymore. I don't want you to come back to me. I want you to do this on your own. Come up with ideas. I left you with this. I left you also in the guide with a blueprint of how to put everything into play and go test. Make something. Don't come back to me. This is not a freaking course. Just do something.
Get out of here. Thank you for listening to Game Layer. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and especially review wherever you found us. This keeps us in the charts and helps other learners find us as well. If you got something out of an episode, please be sure to share it with someone who you think will like it.
Well, I love how it's a game that helps you build a game. I just have to bring that up, right? It's the wheel inside the wheel.
Everyone says
And
that. I never thought
that's
of
not
it
lost
this way.
to me. I just like it. Well, it's cards. I mean, come on, it's on cards. So it's like a game that helps you make games. It's neat. There's a coolness to that. Yeah. So just changing gears a little bit, what do you think is one of your biggest learning experiences, or you could say failures, running this business, the Catalyst? What's something that you think has taught you having to run this business?
Okay, two things kind of changed the course here of the business. Number one is that I was a self-hugger. I hugged my own designs a lot. And there was this one program where I was so pop committed to a specific design in a specific way. And since I had good rapport with the client, I just persuaded them to continue on with what I wanted. And it flopped. It flopped big time. And if it wasn't for my ability at that time to have good rapport with the people, they were coders, young engineers, they were bright, they understood there was a mathematical error, and they just played with it. It was a journey of 3 different board games across 3 different days on planning and leadership. And I was so committed to do a game called Empire. Empire is my absolute failure. Since that day, it's there in the storage room. I wouldn't even dare to take it out. Based off Empire, I came up with many different other ideas, but Empire would always remind me that I was too committed to my own understanding, didn't frame a problem. I just wanted to create that kind of civilization-based game. I wanted to create a Catan mashed up with Battlefield, mashed up with Risk and and it had like changing gears where you would go and raid another team while coming up with a civilization. And I'm like, good God, what was I thinking? This happened this happened 8.5 years ago, and I still remember it. It hurt me. I mean, every time to remember how dumb I was. The other thing that also was a shift is that I had what you could call a friend / brother / why am I being so blunt in this podcast? Okay, so a brother is
I think I bring it out of people. And I want to talk about self-hugging in a minute too. It's up to you. Do you want to go on to the next story, or for the learner?
The point is,
yeah, I feel like the whole idea is that you're building something that you would want to play, right? You're not looking at the needs of the learners. Did I say that right? Or do you anything you wanted to add to that?
The entire thing was actually built on Lord of the Rings kind of aesthetics. I wanted soldiers and workers and maize and corn and iron and resources to be traded. I'm like, I want me some Catan.
Just ship it to me. I'll play it.
It's terrible.
Let's talk about your brother / friend, maybe used to be a friend brother.
So my brother / friend / sort of a protege. I leaned heavily on that guy. He was working with me, and he was even going to be possibly a partner, and I don't partner with anyone because this is not my first rodeo. This is not my first company. This is my third, for you to know. And I flopped in both before for several reasons. So this is my third, and it's been going on strong so far. And I felt, you know what, I could trust this guy to the extent that he turned rogue on me, like big time. And it affected me because I noticed what I did wrong. A, I gave too much trust. B, he blinded me from a huge group of people that were around that could have offered so much support, but I didn't even look at them because I was so invested in him. The other thing is that because we continuously brainstorm together and we get one another, I mean, we're on the same wavelength, it started to affect my own trust in, am I still able to come up with ideas? Can I still create? Can I do this on my own? Like the first deck of cards, like the grandfather of Penta is actually called the Alchemist. And I built a complete system called the Alchemy system. That's what later became Penta. But he built the alchemy with me. He built it from the start. He didn't know much. I was teaching him while working with him, but he's an intellectual dude. He's amazing. But when he left, and he left abruptly, he left in the midst of everything. I was left in chaos. Like, here's the key to the office. I'm out of here. And I was flabbergasted. I was in awe. Negative kind of awe. So I was like, you know what? I built it on my own, baby. I'm gonna make it back. And by the way, I'm 14 years older than you. So you're a kiddo. I could bring this back. So those two things. A was Empire taught me that I should not be committed to my own thought process. And that's what I should tell people about. B, that there are loads of people. There are many people that can help you out, but you just do not look. And I found two groups of people that helped out. A, an incomplete tribe here, my community. So many people came to the rescue. So many people helped out. And the other community, which is the people that you know, that I love them to death. Betty, Desri, Cassie, Matthew, a lot of people from the global community that I didn't know that I could be friends with them. They have been more than amazing. So
I
don't
agree.
put all of your eggs in one basket or basically
Amen.
in one person, and expand your network. You'll be surprised. Those were the two things that did affect the business, that did affect me on a personal level as well.
I appreciate you being candid and being vulnerable. I know it's difficult, and you've kind of spoken to that a couple times.
This is the first time I talk about it.
Well, majority of our learning is through failure. And when I started this podcast, I wanted the theme to be failure. And I had hired an SEO guy. He's like, you might want to rethink that, Dave. This shouldn't be a show about failure. But I feel like L&D people get it, right?
Yeah, we do.
Fail, that means it's a delta. You're going to learn, right? So I really appreciate that. I think it adds a lot of value. I think on this show, we call the people learners, not listeners. So it's all
True.
about that growth.
I mean, it just dawned on me that I never talked about this before. But by the way, that was 3 years ago. And in those 3 years, I hired new people. I gave the reins to new people. I am more relaxed. I am at a better state because now I have support. And whenever I think about anyone, I'm like him. I'm not gonna go for anyone else. Him. So yeah, that you got blindsided sometimes, and we'll keep failing. We'll just keep failing. That's just a part of life.
Fine. You fail
Yeah.
forward. I think a big part of the hero's story, that the hero's journey is a process of failure, right?
True.
If the hero
Shout out to
didn't
Joseph
die and
Campbell.
come back, there you go. Yeah. So speaking of that, now you've come back, you have a community. Yeah, you have people in your network. What's your biggest victory you think you've had in the past 3 years, or what are you most proud of?
Well, our community has grew to almost 300 people, graduates of our program. We only have one sole public program. Okay, let me tell you about our cult. We have a cult. It's a cult mentality, okay?
Don't you want devoted followers who leave their families for you, give their... Don't you want to become a cult leader?
It's
I love
it's Nexium, it's like New Age, call it whatever the kind of like, I don't know. It's any kind of cult mentality you would find. Your Tom Jones. It's that thing.
Cool.
So anyway,
I love it.
our community is people that went through the TOT program. So we only have one public program, that's TOT. Why TOT? Why train the trainer? When I first started getting into the business, I wanted to let people know that I'm a designer, but as I told you before at the beginning, you don't have a lot of designers around. And yeah, I'm not well known, but I have been delivering TOT for years and years. By now, it's been 12 years delivering train the trainer program. So I, quote unquote, kind of got kicked out of the last program that I was in because I wanted out. And they told me, you're not going to use the content. You're not going to use this. You're not going to be dealing with anyone from there. I'm like, baby, I created that content. I made this happen. And I'll be your competitor. So what happened is that the first design by the Catalyst, was the first blended, gamified, train the trainer program in the Middle East. And we've been going on for 8 years and a half solid. Okay. So throughout that program, we only run 4 programs a year, by the way. We're going to be starting round 25 in a couple weeks. We've graduated over 300 people. And my community is my joy and pride. Why? Because when I hire from the Catalyst. When I get freelancers to work with my clients, it's from the Catalyst. When I do part-time design, development, whatever, from the Catalyst. So it's cult mentality. Anyone that wants to come and work with us, I'm sorry, it's only Catalyst. We do community meetings. We go out. Some people actually married one another from that cult. Some people, they got friendly. Some people built businesses. Some people, they network on so many different levels and things. So those are the best investment that I ever had. They make up everything for me, that community. And they're the one running the TOT now. I'm not doing it. I deliver out of 82 hours, only 2 sessions. The rest is them. So the system, the design just proves that it works. Doesn't have to have a specific trainer to run it. So that would be one of the best accomplishments ever. The thing that I'm extremely proud of. Not my designs, not my games, not my anything. It's the community. Through and through.
I love that. And that's a big part of health, right? Having that sense of community is a big part of mental health. So I love how it connects back to that.
Definitely.
So Mo, what are games and why do we love them?
Games are, well, to me, games are systems. I wouldn't call myself a gamer. I'm a learning designer. I believe in systems. I am pretty, how can I put it? Utilitarian, very practical in how I see things. I don't believe in all of the emotional mushy kind of stuff. But if I'm going to be adding a little bit of mush here, games, many people do call it the magic circle. It's a circle that people get into and they lose themselves. They get into a bubble where they're not thinking that they're the managers anymore, or they're that specific employee that is going through a rough time. I am actually embodying an avatar. I am taking after risks and decisions that are artificial, that do not exist, just for a period of time. So games are getaways. To me, it's a good opportunity to put people in a beneficial getaway rather than a team building event where they're doing hedonism and mindless play just for the sake of it. While instead, I can make you get a little bit mindless. I'm going to get you that limitless pill, but for a good reason, to get yourself out there. And maybe the next time you're making up a decision, one light bulb is just going to tell you this is the righteous thing to do, or not righteous. Well, that's the possible thing to do. How about you try it out? So to me, they're getaways. They're good getaways. If they're learning games, they're valuable getaways if designed right.
Very cool comment on the limitless pill there. I'm going to hark that back out. Really good film. Very cool topic. You know, I want to talk back about the client who asked you to make just a waste of time brain candy, right? Just some vibe coding, and you threw Tetris in there. Could you tell that story that just came up this morning?
Okay. So
what's wrong with that? Or why is that evil?
Okay, we have been having this induction program. I can't talk too much about that client because
no names.
The point is, my BD guy, the business development guy, he could kill me. Okay, for
I said too much already.
To keep it PC, to make it PC, let's just say that I do not deal with that client anymore. The team deals with them because I am the antagonist at this point. You do not put Mo in any meetings. Mo should be excluded. Let the team handle. That's the level that we got to. Because at one point I wanted to bite them. And I'm not talking vampire kind of bite. No. I mean lethal bites to end the life.
Just wolves.
Okay?
Just dogs.
No.
Wolves.
Yes, wolves. Like, I want to shred them.
We're on the same page.
So anywho, yeah. So, and this is me being PC. That's my level. Without everything that I've mentioned, this is me being PC.
I don't have any
Hopefully
listeners.
Speaking. I don't think so.
Yeah, so don't worry about it.
I don't think. They're not that well versed. But anyway. So anywho, we do this e-learning escape room that has been taking, I don't know. It's been taking around 10 months. Although it could have been done in like less than 2 months. Because of iterations, useless iterations, and ongoing grants. So anyway, the game, after the immense amount of iterations, became so mundane and so heavy and so scenario stuffed that I need to add a little bit of a leeway, a cognitive ease, so people can just get a break and jump into something else. So what did I do? I vibe coded a Tetris game. Not the thing that I would do. If anyone knows me, they know I'm not going to be putting things for fun. But that was not for fun. That was just a break. I've coded it to be a 2 to 3 minute break in a 45-minute induction game. Okay, just a 3-minute break, just a way for them to ease. Now, I did it. I've put it inside of the induction, and then I let my Gen Z designers test it. So I wouldn't be pot committed. I don't want to repeat Empire. I don't want to be self-hugging. Everything I
No
do,
self-hugging.
I need to run it
Right.
by the team so I could get another eye. And they struggled as if they were struggling with a physics exam on how to make a single line using Tetris. And I'm looking at them. It was actually on this desk, and I'm looking at them like, this is Tetris. I want you to get a line, just a line. Once you do a line, a question will pop up. That's it. Just do a line. You keep on failing. 15 minutes straight, and they're failing miserably. Miserably. They couldn't finish a 4-minute game or like a 3-minute game. Like, have you ever played Tetris? No, we never did. That was a shocker. I am 40. I am old enough now to witness people that cannot play basic retro games, and they're struggling with it. Not because we're superior, but because they've never experienced it. So it made me think, will my client that I do love dearly will be able to do that, and their employees whom I don't know, but I do care about, honestly, I do care about, who could be Gen Zs, they will go through the same thing. But it dawned on me. Apparently, there's an entire generation that never played Tetris, that wouldn't even appreciate the simplicity yet the complexity of this abstract game. Yeah.
You never feel like you've gotten older, right? It's just you realize that you've gotten older when the things you're talking about, people in the room don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's when you know.
Every day here.
I feel the same,
Here,
but yeah,
at this office,
we're in the
every day.
same boat. So if you could only play one game for the rest of your life, what game would that be?
Board or video game or what exactly?
If you want to pick, that's fine.
That's
Just say
tough.
board. We could keep it analog. At least that narrows it down, right?
Wow.
Or do you want to go old school video game? Yeah, it's a tough question. You have a lot of games back there.
I do, and there are others at home, and there some on the computer here. So I don't know. I really don't know. One of my favorite games are Splendor.
Okay.
I love
See,
Splendor.
that came to mind. That's good. What's Splendor? I don't think I'm familiar.
Splendor is a game that is, you can call it abstract, but it has a very minor narrative. Very minor narrative. But it packs a punch when it comes to systems thinking and understanding feedback loops and patterns. So I would say games like Splendor or Azul, I could keep coming back at them because the story doesn't dictate that if I knew it, I wouldn't play it again. Like, for example, there's a really cool game, the white box over there. It's called Time Stories. Amazing game. But once you know the stories and all the parallel universes, it's done. There's another one beside it called Stuffed Fables. Again, really good. Choose your kind of adventure. It's a book. It's a board game in the form of a book. Amazing. But once you figure out the story, it's done. So I would always go back to games like Azul, Splendor, or Elements. Games that I can keep playing and playing and playing all the time. And every time, it would still beg me to think, to ponder, to take my time to deliberate on what would be the best next move, whether I'm playing with one person or 3 others against me, because they're all maximum 4-player games.
Yeah. Well, I love the why there, right? I love you had to bring up 2 or 3 games, but they were all common in the sense that
Yes,
you can play them over and over. And I think you supported that really well. So I accept that answer. Perfect.
thank you so much.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Legos at all? I just keep seeing you posting Legos.
I love Lego. I'm a big Lego buff since I was a kid, and not only Lego and Meccano. You know Meccano? Ever?
Meccano? I don't know if I do.
Okay, it's Meccano is the metal version of Lego where you put like engines and small like transistors and wires, and you can create a small car or so. in my country, we didn't have like Lego or Meccano. So it was usually through my relatives or my grandfather. When he passed away years ago, but he used to get it to me from Ireland because he used to live there. And yeah, I loved Lego and Meccano. So I loved that concept. And now as I'm old, I love to collect. Like I have action figures, anime action figures, Funko Pops, Pokemons, and also Lego. The point is, me and my kid actually share that part, is that we get extremely lost in the build. I'm ADHD, okay?
Okay.
So to actually put me in a hyper focus, sometimes it's comforting. Other times it's consuming. When it comes to Lego, it's extremely comforting. I am just lost for like 4 hours, and they know when I'm doing this, don't disturb. I'll be sitting down. I was putting up like some Japanese hip hop music on screen, and I'm in my living room, and I'm like just. Although I'm a metalhead, but I was listening to Japanese hip hop. So why? Because just because. So I was doing that 4 hours straight, took a break, ate, and then I came back for the last 2 hours. It was amazing. I loved it. Just the fact of building something. Once it's done, worth it. Worth it.
Yeah. I think I might be undiagnosed ADHD. There's something going on there with me. So I'm looking into that a little bit further. So I'll keep you posted on my status
Welcome
there.
to the
But I
tribe.
definitely
We
go
have
into the flow
t-shirts.
state also. Ah, cool. Maybe I'll sign up for one of those. So yesterday I went out and saw the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and I was wondering if you had seen that yet.
You surprised me. I'm going to say it again. You surprised me because me and my wife, we were so into that show. It was so well made. And Grogu is just to die for. I love that character. That Baby Yoda is amazing.
Yeah.
And fun fact, when my kid was born, the first 3 years of her life, I was calling her Baby Yoda because she looked like Baby Yoda. They thought I was bullying her. Actually, no, I was not bullying her. That came out of love. So
That's awesome.
that's our original Baby Yoda.
That's a really fun
much
fact.
I love that show. Yes, I love that show. I called my kid Baby Yoda.
I think Grogu really makes the show, and I don't know if they planned on that, but I think it adding that child element into the show really makes it. And it's why my kids get into it. It's why my wife gets into it. I think if Grogu wasn't in there, that show wouldn't have been nearly as successful.
Nope. So, you can't really see Pedro Pascal.
I'm sure it's affectionate.
You can't see Pedro Pascal. I mean, he had a really good performance.
No, you can't. He has a helmet.
I know.
Yeah.
He performed well, but the entire spiel is around saving Grogu, and everything is about Grogu. He's the star.
Yeah. I think you're right. So this is a random question that I ask everyone on the show because we're talking about learner types here, and we're talking about human archetypes. So other than a dog or a cat, what do you think, what animal best personifies you? Or what is your spirit animal that you're most similar to? It's a random question.
My spirit animal. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, are you more like an octopus or more like a shark or more like an eagle?
I mean, in game design, there's something called player types, and I'm not a big believer of it. Like you got your killers and your explorers and
this is good.
I can't remember the others, but something that I know very well. When we go into a game, I'm the guy when we play Diablo or Minecraft Dungeons or any dungeon crawling game. I'm the one that reads, that looks up the potion and the mana and the details, and I enjoy the story. My wife couldn't care for anything other than bash, hit, kill. Okay? That's why when we play, I don't like to play against her because she's going to kick my ass. But instead, I would play with her because I know she's going to protect me. Okay? That's a thing. So she's a killer. I'm an explorer.
Yeah,
when
she's a
we're in
killer.
our honeymoon, I'm the
Yeah.
guy that is reading the placards and I'm like exploring the paintings and appreciating. She's like, let's get out of here. Let's finish this. So
Yeah.
I'm more of an explorer. So you could
Yeah.
call me, I don't know, maybe a falcon, an eagle, a person that likes to see the bigger picture of things. I love certainty. I
like
love to see things. Otherwise, I would get a bit disoriented or I wouldn't know how to analyze situation. I need to know as much data as possible. So that could be any flying creature, a bat, a falcon, an eagle. Let's just stick with that falcon because I'm Egyptian. So falcon it is.
Falcon. I love it. Falcon. Yeah, because when you said reading, I thought owl. The wise owl likes to read everything.
No, I'm not
I
wise.
can't think of another animal that would be reading. You're not
No.
wise. See, well,
No,
when
I'm
you
not.
said you'd be reading, I'm the explorer that you when you finished reading, I've already run around the whole arena 3 times. I've already like seen everything twice. That's my kind of
Excellent.
explorer. Is I'm just
Yeah.
into everything. Probably ADHD. So I'll get back to you on that. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about? Anything else?
I'm here for the show, so whatever you want, I'm on.
No, this is your opportunity to ask any question you have or anything else you want to talk about.
Well, I hope at one point pseudoscience will be eradicated from our field. Because when you were talking about like, are you a cat or a dog? And first you were talking about learner types. I'm like, no, he didn't. Is he going to be talking about learning styles? It's like learning types. Okay. But learning styles, NLP, healing, meditation,
Yeah.
energy,
Left, right brain. Yeah.
left and right brain, which is HBDI or Herman's-Briggs,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Disc analysis, MBTI, and the people that get all religious. I'm a D, I'm an I am an INFJ. All of those things, I hope at one point we will get rid of them. All of the ill scientific techniques and pseudoscience and data that has no reference to it. But people are more emotionally drawn to them and it's part of their belief system rather than using function and practicality to weigh things. They're just emotionally gravitated towards them rather than anything else. Because if you look at it, the number of people that lost their jobs, that got depressed, that wasted opportunities because they believe they're an INFP or there's something in this, or their learning style wouldn't help them with this, or because they're not creative enough because some assessment said so, whether that was RISIC or HBDI. People are just looking at the face value of things that, oh, come on. Let people do things. Let them have an outlet. No. You haven't seen the consequences. The people that felt deprived of opportunities, the people that put themselves into labels, they put labels on themselves or like put themselves into specific like silos away from everything because they're convinced that they can't because some paper told them so. Whether that was Honey and Mumford or, I don't know, any other assessment that is ill. And I know assessments. I'm a certified assessment center analyst. I've studied that. And I know that their validity wouldn't go no more than 50 to 55% if you're fortunate on a good day. And you've got Lauren Waldman talks a lot about the mythology. Dr. Kuva is talking about that. Nedi, is talking about that. Many people are preaching, but no one is listening because they're so emotionally invested rather than knowledgeably invested in what should be done. So yeah, I hope at one time we could see less of that.
Yeah. And you made me think of the elephant and the rider, right? We think that our rational mind is in control. And I think for the most part, our species, the emotions are really driving the show. And we're not aware of that. I'm not aware of that right now. I think it's interesting. You're definitely dead on. So amen.
We're not rational beings. We're irrational. And that's part of our charm, by the way. It is.
Yeah. That's our edge over the synthetics. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not cattle. We have an ability to be creative, and that hence is our irrationality. But also because we're irrational, we do stupid acts every day, and
Achilles
we
heel.
believe in certain things
Yeah.
that are absurd.
So Moe Ash, how can people reach out to you to connect with you or follow you? What's the best way to reach out?
Well, my LinkedIn is always open. I know that I've been a bit tardy recently on answering some questions. I'm sorry. And I'm working on that. And also, I have a Facebook that people can reach out to me. Some people can reach out to me on Facebook. Some people can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Just reach out, drop a message, and I'll try to help out as much as possible.
Well, fantastic. Thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks for
Absolute
sharing.
pleasure. Having fun.
Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Game Layer. This is David Colmer reminding you to stay present and never postpone joy. You can find transcripts of the show at gamelayer.fm. GAMELAYER.fm. Theme music by Kayla Willits. Thanks for listening. Now go, play.
I play chess.
I play Scrabble.
I play fauteuil. I play everything.
Hide and seek with my kids.
I play the piano.
I play board games.
I play guitar.
I smash it on the pitch.
I play chess.
I play Othello.
I play all the Marios.
I play Success Strategist.
I play Street Fighter.
Final Fantasy.
I play games of my own invention. Games of my own invention. Games of my own invention. Games of my own invention.
There are many ways to play. Going for a walk together, doing nothing together is also playing. Anything that can cultivate your feeling of joy, relaxation, where you feel more recharged after doing that thing, and I think you can consider as something that we play with. I'd like to move to the domain of play